We're live. Peace to everyone out there, whether you're watching this live now or whether you're watching it in playback later on. Just want to say good afternoon, since I never say hello when I make my videos most of the time. Now, I thought I'll just have a quick one with you all since I'm going live. I've never tried this feature, but I'm trying it for the first time on my mobile. I just want to basically make you aware of something that you may not have thought of before. Because yesterday and now, I like this live. I think I'll do this all the time from now on. Although that means if I do a cock up or something, I can't delete it. So it's literally live. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, what I've been talking about lately or found myself talking about, because nowadays, not that I've been more, not that I've been trying to do it more, it's something that is, what's the word, put on or something that's planned. I find myself bumping into strangers and speaking to them about very, very deep things in a very short space of time. And I happen to have had one of those moments again yesterday when I was trying to explain the whole purpose of astrology to a young lady. And if you're watching out there, hi. Oh, yeah, Leo full moon. But it wasn't in Leo, it was in Pisces. I won't argue about it anyway. If you think it's Leo or is Leo to you, it is. But to me, it was in Pisces, the full moon. Sorry, I'm just responding to a comment. Anyway, yes, LOL, Sarah. So she was asking me, what's the point of astrology? She was looking at me very perplexed and baffled, simply because she was curious, not because she was dismissing it. It was very humbling. She actually asked me something that I'm not really asked. And I guess it's probably because a lot of people don't really think about it, or a lot of people do know the point of astrology. So I said to her, well, think about it like this. And I was also having the same conversation with my brother just now. That's why I thought I'd come on live. If you throw the baby out with the bath water, then that is a great, great shame. Now, what do I mean when I say throwing out the baby with the bath water? Well, I simply mean in terms of religion and spirituality, throwing out both, throwing out religion and the spirit. A lot of us younger people, particularly nowadays, being more advanced, being more independent, being more able to access information, we face the difficulty of finding ourselves because there is such a minefield of, different dogmas, different paths, different practices, and all the sort. And because of that, if we have grown up in a background of Christianity or any Abrahamic faith, we will simply come one day, decide not to follow any of it, and just throw it all into the can, Jesus included, or the truth behind the religion. And the baby here is the truth that we find in Christianity, for example, and I'll just focus on Christianity. And the bath water is religion, the dogma, all the details where the devil lays. So if you happen to throw the baby out with the bathwater, you have lost the game. So the whole point is, as you mature spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically as well, of course, you're supposed to come to a point where you can sift and separate the wheat from the chaff and throw chaff into the fire. And that is simply being aware of what will hold you back spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and knowing what will keep you growing. And you will find that in quote unquote religion, in the Bible. You will find the truth there. So you need to decide what works for you and what doesn't, and go ahead accordingly instead of going full blown and throwing everything out. Because when you read the Bible, when you refer to Christianity, when you refer to religion, You are simply referring to yourself, hence you partake in it, hence you worship, hence it all comes back to you. And the story of Jesus, if you're not going to dwell on the details where the devil lays and whether he was, true or false, whether he was black or white, whether he was tall or short, whatever. People even discuss his hairstyle. If you are not going to dwell on the details and dwell on the essence where you will find God, the truth, then you will know that the story of Jesus and the character that you are referring to in that book, from the time even before he incarnates as Jesus, is talking about you and your own redemption of yourself, of your soul, of your true self. It's talking about your redemption. So for you to read this book or to practice the religion of Christianity, for example, and not be aware that the Jesus you worship is simply a demonstration of what you are meant to do, then you are wasting your time. And that is a shame. A great, great shame. A grave shame. Because it's all about you. Even if you forgot about Jesus and you looked at the other characters in the Bible, you can all make relation to you, especially as you get older, especially after you face experiences. You're going to get to a stage where if you find the relevance of religion or the book and you see yourself in it, you can grow a lot. You can have a lot more perspective, more balanced, because you will know that you are not going off course, or you're not tormented, or you're not cursed. You will know that you are going through a process, a process called growth. And that's what all is entailed in the Bible. Sorry, I missed some comments there. That's all that is entailed in the Bible. Growth, redemption, salvation. So it's talking about you. So I started off with the 3 wise men, and I didn't divert. But I'm going long-winded here so that you can get the point fully. The 3 wise men had to look up at the stars. I hope I can be heard, by the way. I got my headphones hooked up. Anyway, the 3 wise men were looking up at the stars in order to find Jesus. That's what we know of, right? The Star of Bethlehem. And this was me answering the lady yesterday. And also when I was talking to my brother and letting him know. The 3 wise men were looking up at the stars to find Jesus. Had they not looked up at the star, or had the star not been there for them to follow, they would not have found Jesus and possibly save his life, if you know the story. So the fact that we are told categorically that the 3 wise men followed the star to find the Messiah or the Christ, which simply means anointed, referring to the pineal gland. It shows 3 men following a star, looking up at the stars, going to meet the Messiah. That is talking about your transformation as a man, as a king, looking up at the stars and finding your anointed self, finding the Christ within you. And of course, it's going to sound favorable for me to say it because I deal with astrology, but I cannot argue the fact that it says they followed a star. And we all can follow the stars, just like the 3 wise men did, to find the Messiah, to find the Christ, to find the Savior, which is simply yourself, your higher self. So you going from your lower self to your higher self by way of following the signs, following the clues. Because a lot of us go about in our daily lives in this matrix with our heads down. But if we had our heads up and not only see what is in front of us, but what is on top of us, maybe then we can grow to our fullest potential and meet the Christ within us and be a Jesus. be a Messiah, because there will be many Messiahs. That's what one hopes. Exactly. Save yourself. That's a good comment. The Savior is inside of us, so save yourself. So once you know that, you can look at these books, these stories, these characters, and not worry about the details, not worry about how they looked, not worry about where they were, but simply worry about what it was they went through and the result of that. Because there are many, many stories in there where it says that there was growth, that there was salvation, that there was pardon, that there was transmutation, transfiguration, crucifixion, the old self dying so the new self can be born. This is the whole point of religion. Religion is not a game. The whole purpose of it in the first place is to, help us expand and excel. But as it says in Matthew chapter 13, verse 24 to 30, the church, those who are held responsible for the religious goings on of the peoples, they have made a character like Jesus or a figure like Jesus. They have made a caricature of him. They have made him look fictional. They have made him look so detached. Like I was saying to my brother, if you think of Jesus, you think of a white man with long hair, blue eyes, and you're a black man who's big. It's the complete opposite. Where's the relation in that? So they have made it so where you think of a particular character and you build up a character in your mind, and at the same time forsake yourself and what you're meant to be assuming in terms of that role and the destiny of that role. You now focus on something that is external to you, a character. And then it gets to a point where you may feel that your life is not going a certain way that it should if this character was on your side. So you can it all. You decide it's all BS. This Jesus didn't exist, etc., etc. You now start researching and finding out why he didn't exist and why it's a lie that he did this and he wasn't crucified and etc., etc. You now find a distraction further. Not only the fact that you haven't seen yourself in that story and in that person, in that character, but you also now want to find a way to justify why there is no such thing. That is sad. That is very, very sad. So I just wanted to put that out there. When you read the story and you hear of the three wise men following the star to meet the Messiah, it's talking about your journey and using tools that are placed in front of us that we can use in order to find the Christ within us and assume that role of Messiah. It's as simple as that. If anybody wanted to know the relation between Christianity and astrology, or where astrology is mentioned, by the way, sorry, it's freezing here. I'm in London. It's freezing. So I even missed what I was going to say now, sorry. But yeah, if anyone wanted to dispute these stories and focus on the details, again, the devil is in the detail. If anybody wants to focus on the details and not on the truth, the essence, they've lost the game, because they're never going to find the Messiah. They are never going to be a wise man or a king. And notice how those three wise men, it wasn't one, it wasn't two, it was three. The number 3 is one of completion. Jesus was crucified at 33. So you are not on this journey alone, if you ever thought you were. You will be of assistance to someone, and somebody will be of assistance to you. And you will grow together and find the Christ within. But it all starts with you. Yes, 33. That's the number. 3 wise men following a star to find the Messiah. Need I say more? It's plain and clear. There are things you can use to find what you need to find. But if you don't know what you're finding, or you decide the tools you can use to find, i.e. a star, or astrology, or numerology, or whatever, and don't forget they all work in tandem. They don't contradict each other at all. I can prove it to you. They all connect and they complement each other. If you decide not to acknowledge and use these tools, you'll be walking down the road with your head down as opposed to your head up high. Peace.